Hello everyone. Recently I've gotten into a few arguments regarding the F4U-1 Corsairs. Those arguments usually were going over how different the F4U-1s are from each other in game. Now, after having done the same exact tests 3 times, I decided that I should finally make a video to archive these tests, and also highlight the completely unreasonable BR choices for all of the F4U-1s. All of this may be confusing, seeing as both stat cards and War Thunder Wiki tell you that there are vast differences between the models. Here we can see that F4U-1A is supposed to be the worst turning, the slowest and the worst climbing of all Corsairs, with nearly 70 kph of top speed difference between it and F4U-1D and C. So surely they must be at least a bit better than 1A performance-wise, right? After all, they are both higher BR. However, the X-rays we have in-game tell us that all of these have the same engine with the same setting and that they make the same amount of horsepower. And WTRTI also tells us that they have pretty much the same weight with very minor differences that are pretty much unnoticeable. So something must be wrong, and we have to test that ourselves. And so I've tested the F4U-1s to see how fast they can really go and if there really is a big performance gap, as stat cards and wiki made us to believe. Now, starting with F4U-1A, which is supposed to be the weakest by a big margin, I tested how fast the planes can go in a level flight at sea level and then at 4,000 meters. However, with F4U-1A, I forgot to test at 4,000 meters, so we are left with only power output and top speed at the deck. And here we have the end results. F4U-1A, sitting at 2.7 BR in realistic battles, has reached a top speed of 586 or 587 kilometers an hour at the deck and made around 2,240 horsepower. Now, let's move on to F4U-1A USMC, which according to StatCard should be faster by quite a bit. Also, according to War Thunder Wiki, it should be a few hundred kilograms lighter than the 1A. However, on the WTRTI screenshots I've shown earlier, we can already see that it is lighter only by 30 kilograms, not few hundred. Let's see if it will at least be faster. And here are the end results. The 1A USMC has reached a top speed of 589 km an hour and made pretty much identical amount of horsepower, that being 2,240. We can already see that it's basically identical to 1A in performance despite being at a higher BR. Now let's see how it will perform at 4,000 meters. In the end, F4U-1A USMC reached the top speed of 655 kph at 4,000 meters and made just under 2,100 horsepower. It is reasonable to assume that, except for the 30 kilograms difference, the 1A and 1A USMC are pretty much the same plane. So, now let's move on to F4U-1D, which, according to War Thunder Wiki, is significantly better due to improved aerodynamics and more powerful engine. As you can see, the F4U-1D did not achieve better speeds than A's. In fact, on the deck it was around 10 kph slower and made pretty much the same amount of power. This is due to something we can't see on the visual model itself. I don't know why it wasn't modeled, but hey. Additional drag from added fixed pylons. F4U-1D was meant to be a fighter-bomber version, and for that it was equipped with additional pylons. So it has in fact worsened, not improved drag. Now, when it comes to engine and making the same power despite Wiki claiming that it is much stronger, the answer is also simple. The thing that initially made F4U-1D have an edge over 1A's when it came to power is water injection. This mod allowed 1D to indeed be stronger than 1A's when it was introduced. However, right after it got introduced, water injection was also added onto F4U-1A's, making them all have the same engine with the same power output. Now, In-game, we have versions of F4U-1s already fitted with water injection, so the wiki claim of 1D having stronger engine is also simply wrong. Still, just to be sure that 1D is in no way better, we'll run a 4000 meter test to check the high altitude performance. Here we can see that 1D is indeed slower, even at high alts, by around the same amount. So now let's move over to F4U-1c, which is supposed to be an F4U-1D, but with 50 cal switched over for 20mm. It's also around 170 kilograms heavier than 1A's due to the aforementioned 20mm, so it will have somewhat noticeably worse turn and climb. I also expect that due to the additional drag of the 20mm sticking out, it will be the slowest F4U-1 so far. As we can see, F4U-1c turned out to be the slowest F4U-1 so far, as well as the heaviest. Since it has the same engine on the X-ray, and as you can see it makes the same amount of power in-game, meaning that we can be sure that there is no error, I will simply skip the 4000 meter test and say that this is indeed the worst performing one. So, from the tests we've done, we can see that, at least performance-wise, F4U-1As are the best, F4U-1D is just slightly worse, and F4U-1C is the worst to the point where it becomes actually noticeable. Now, let's talk about their battle ratings. We have established that the only difference between 1A and 1A USMC is 30 kilograms, making them basically the same plane with the same performance and flight model. However, there is a catch. F4U-1A also gets an option to take a 1000-pound bomb. So, we have the same plane, but with option to take suspended armament, which I'm sure Grounder B players will appreciate, but it's at a lower BR? The BRs they are placed at right now make simply no sense. 1A should also go up to 3.0, or USMC should also go down to 2.7. I can somewhat understand the 1D being at 3.0 with the much better suspended armament. Still, why the hell is 1A USMC at the same BR then? And now we come to one of my favorites. F4U-1C, which has worse performance than its brothers at 2.0 and 1.7 BR lower, all just have better guns. It's a bad plane, there is no way around it. At 4.7 the performance is simply so far behind pretty much everything that it becomes a struggle boss in which you have to pray that no enemy has any idea how to fly if you want to kill them. Personally, I would like to see F4U-1As and D at 3.3, as they simply have too good performance when compared with other stuff around 2.7 and 3.0. When it comes to F4U-1C, I would like to see it at 4.0. The gun still can be a very powerful tool for closer support, even if you will still be a bit worse performance-wise than the fighter competition around 4.0.